Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. In today's video, I'm starting off with making a spread for my archive journal. This spread is about season 3 of Interview with the Vampire. Technically, this season is called The Vampire Lestat, so I guess it's season 1 of The Vampire Lestat, but I don't care. To me, it's season 3 of Interview with the Vampire. I truly encourage everyone, I know I've said this so many times before, but if you have never seen Interview with the Vampire, just watch season 1, episode 1. Like, it is just such a good show. I'm sure most of you have seen the movie, but just to give like a brief synopsis of what this is about. The two main characters are named Louis and Lestat. One day, long ago, Lestat saw Louis and said, "That's my man." And he turned him into a vampire, and they became companions. Companions in this like world is a very serious thing. Like, it's more so than just being boyfriends, which they were, husbands if you will. But like, it's a deep, serious thing. But things did not work out so well because Lestat is nuts and has unhealed trauma. And, you know, so many things occurred. And basically that led to Lestat and Louis parting ways. Lestat almost parted with his head. And then season 2 is about Louis and Claudia, who is essentially his and Lestat's daughter. She is a young girl that Louis found essentially about to die, and he begged Lestat to turn her into a vampire. Louis and Claudia, and also Lestat and Claudia, of course, have a very strained relationship. Louis feels obviously a very intense guilt surrounding the fact that they did, in fact, you know, turn her into a vampire and have doomed her to this life of always looking young, despite being, you know, decades old. And then, of course, subjecting her to live with Lestat. So in season 2, they go to Paris. Season 2 is like post-World War II, I believe. But they go to Paris, and that's where they meet this other group of vampires called the Théâtre des Vampires. And their leader is a man named Armand. My blood pressure just went up when I said Armand's name. We'll get into him in a second. And things do not work out well there either. It's really a whole entire humiliation ritual when you think about it. And I don't want to spoil anything because I really want y'all to watch the show, but one thing leads to another. It's bad, and Louis is on his own. And basically you're learning all of this because an interviewer is interviewing the vampire. His name is Daniel Malloy. He is speaking to Louis while they're in this like fancy Dubai penthouse. And as Louis is telling the story throughout literally 2 seasons of a show, things start to not add up. It's like, that's weird. That's weird. And Daniel helps Louis figure out all these like things that are not correct, not consistent with his memories, not consistent with how the story has unfolded. And once the big realization happens, ooh, that is so good. So that leads us to season 3. Season 3 is following Lestat. So at the beginning of the season, Lestat is made aware of the fact that there's a book that has come out called Interview with the Vampire. And that is, of course, the book that Daniel wrote after interviewing Louis. And Lestat is furious. He's like, "You told our love story to some random man?" And he was like, "Not only that, but it's incorrect. Like, this did not happen this way. Louis is misremembering this. Like, I never did that." And he really wants to, you know, set the record straight. And on top of that, he's decided he wants to pursue a music career. Again, this part of the show is set in our modern day. So season 3 is set in 2025. And it's essentially 7 episodes. Yes, this season is only 7 episodes long. You can imagine how angry I was. 7 episodes of Lestat coming to terms with his past, all of his muses, as he calls them, the people who haunt him, the sick and disgusting relationship that he has with his mother. I actually really love the scene where you could tell Lestat finally came to terms with the fact that like his mother's a terrible person, like what she has been doing to him. This season, I guess the interview aspect is technically supposed to be because Daniel is interviewing Lestat for a documentary, but also you're listening to these things called The Failures, which is recordings of Lestat telling his life story and also alluding to the fact that he is the cause of a like cataclysmic event that happens on Earth that involves all men dying is how it sounds to me. That's actually one of my like gripes about the show. I feel like not much happened with Akasha, and I'm like, what did we just do for 7 episodes other than, you know, delve into Lestat's mind? But like, what happened to the rest of the plot? Where are the other episodes at? Why are there only 7? In general, I did really like this season. I think a lot of people did not, but I do think it felt like a filler episode, a filler season. I don't know how that's possible. It's almost kind of like, you know, when there's like a book trilogy and it's like, okay, we need to bridge these 2 books together, the first and the last one. So the second one is just kind of like, It felt like that a bit. In my notes, I have 3 sections. One says strange motivations, one says character assassination, and one says unexplainable. So like there were definitely some things that I did not love. I still to this day do not understand Armand. Is he just evil and bitter? Armand is one of those characters like I love to hate him. Similar with Lestat, like I love to hate him, like awful people. As far as character assassination, I hate that Daniel no longer feels like he's a journalist. He just felt like kind of the comedic relief, which like, okay, that's fine. But like, you know, Daniel was the one that really helps Louis uncover what had gone on. And I miss that. I miss that, like, you know, getting to the heart of things, getting to the center of things. I hate everything going on with Armand and Daniel. I don't know what, like, I know that's part of the books, but like, I don't like any of that. Oh, and also in terms of character assassination, I wrote that I said, well, here's what I said. I said, why is Lestat, who showed remarkable honesty in season 2, suddenly being like, I have the blood of Akasha, as if that excuses his behavior? Like, Lestat is undoubtedly a victim, absolutely, but that doesn't excuse most of his actions. And then for unexplainable, episode 6 has a seance that was literally like soul crushing. I think the anger of that character made a lot of sense, but the things that were being said, I was like, there's no way. You hate this person more than you hate your own assaulters, your own murderers. That didn't make any sense. Also in this category, I wrote Louis constantly being forced to apologize to his own abusers. Yeah, I would like that to be explained to me. Why is it exactly that Louis, I don't get it. I'm running out of screen recording, but I do have a list of favorites. First of all, episode 6 in its entirety could be nice, could be hands touch. Oh, I'll think about that forever. I also like the fact that it like kind of began and ended on Halloween. I thought that was fun. Also, when Lestat mouthed, "Where's Louis?" in like a panic, loved that. Oh, and I also thought it was fun whenever they showed Lestat being Akasha's keeper. I love how he was just like an anthropologist or something, like just like bringing her like little things, being like, look at this. I thought that was kind of cute, actually. As a whole, again, not much plot happened, but I appreciate, you know, a character exploration. And I did really like this season, honestly. Like, it was fun per usual. And also, as always, I hate Armand. Every like the most pathetic loser of them all, Armand. I remember I was like watching some sort of like behind the scenes video or like interview or something, and like one of the showrunners was saying like, you know, oh, people kind of hate Armand right now, and comments were like, how could we ever hate Armand? I'm like, maybe if you didn't baby girlify the most evil man in existence, you would see on your screen there's an evil man in front of you that you're supposed to hate him, actually. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out where the rest of the season is. Where's the other 7 episodes of my season? Like, am I really going to have to wait another 2 years for the next season of The Vampire Lestat? Okay. But I still recommend watching the show. It's so good. If you like toxic yaoi, definitely watch. If you like historical fiction, definitely watch the first 2 seasons. I really appreciate how much the actors bring to the show. Like, I can really tell they're putting their all into it, and that they really like truly deeply respect the characters that they're portraying. The showrunners, that's a different story. But anyway, this spread is finished. The last spread in today's video is for my reading journal. This is my July reading log, my July reading wrap up. The first thing I read this month was an arc of volume 1 of Blue Summer Haze, which I talked about in another video. That was the one that was the high school love triangle baseball themed BL. And then after that, I read volume 1 of a series called Chow Time at the Ballpark. I was so sad that I realized this has 3 volumes, but only 1 has been translated into English. This is a bit niche of a work. Like, I can kind of understand like why like it hasn't been continued to be translated. It's about this woman who loves going around to all the different baseball parks and eating the food there. And so it's kind of almost like a food manga, I would say. Like, she like goes in depth explaining all these different foods that they have there, and she happens to meet this other girl while she's out and about one time, and they end up like maintaining a friendship, and they start going to baseball games together, and they're trying all this food. And also it has a slight Yuri element to it. Like, I'm not sure if it was supposed to, but I feel like they liked each other. Like, there was definitely a scene where they were like having a FaceTime call while watching a game together, and the main character got up to go make some food, and she was just wearing a t-shirt, no pants, because, you know, she's at her house chilling, and the other girl saw her underwear and she was like, oh my god, like, she was blushing. So I don't know if they were supposed to be romantically involved, but I was taking it like that. I quite liked it. As you know, I love baseball, so I thought it was kind of fun. There were some like fun facts in between the chapters as well about like different players, different ballparks. It's hard to say if I recommend it or not, because again, it's just so niche. I don't know, if you wanted to read a food manga, I would say that would probably be a good option for you. And if you happen to like baseball, I guess it would be a good one. There was like nothing really to the story. Like, it was just like them eating, essentially. Again, maybe in the later volumes more happens. I don't know. After that, I read Be My Baby Season 2, which I talked about in another video. That is the Impreg but not Omegaverse story. That's really funny. And then after that, I read Blue Prussian Moment, which I talked about in my last video. And I had said in my last video that I only read volume 1 and that I was going to read the next 2 volumes. And I did in fact do that. I was under the impression that the story had just finished, that it had just wrapped up, but it actually seems like it got canceled, because the way volume 3 ends, there's just kind of this like big time skip, and like, I don't know, they never fully confess their feelings to each other, which like, I guess that's fine, question mark, but I don't know, I think if the story had started off differently, I would have been like, you know, maybe they just have this close relationship. Maybe it doesn't need to be defined. Like, you can have a very close relationship with another woman. You don't have to be a lesbian. But that is not how this story started off at all. And again, I don't mind like an ambiguous, like, obviously these two people have very deep feelings for each other. Like, they love each other. Like, Mocha literally is like, you know, I can't live without you. It's like, well, what is that if not love? But I can understand, like, they don't have to be in romantic love. But I just thought it was strange because that's just not how the story began. I really liked how Kazuki, at the beginning of her story, how her worldview was being rocked, like her understanding her own sexuality and understanding that her father is involved in like essentially gentrification. And I just like would have liked to have seen like the conclusion to those realizations, I guess. I just found it odd that it was like treated as if it was like codependency between the two girls, but it was like romantic feelings, I thought. So it's a bit sad. I will say I feel like my rating is more now like a 4.5 stars than a 5, but I really think that this series had a lot of potential. Like, I will definitely be reading anything else that mangaka writes because it just had so many elements that I love in a love story. I will say I did really like how Kazuki had to confront like the fact that she's lived a very privileged life, not only in terms of like finances, like not just wealth, but also having two parents who are like sane and normal and love her. Mocha has not experienced that, and Kazuki was just like, you know, projecting her own experiences and being like, well, I think you can just patch things up with your mom. And it's like, that lady hated Mocha. Like, not everyone can just talk things out. Anyway, I really like that series. I'm so sad that it ended the way that it did, that it just seems like it got canceled. And then after that, I read nothing. I'm recording this currently on July 26th, but many days ago, I called it. I was like, I'm done with reading for the month. I don't feel like doing anything recently. I don't feel like reading. I don't feel like rewatching Link Click, which I need to be doing. I don't feel like coloring. I don't feel like scrolling through social media. Like, I don't feel like doing anything. I did attempt to start some other books, and like there are a couple that I'm kind of currently into. I guess let me list them. So I did try to start the Penelopiad. I didn't love that it was first person point of view, and I didn't really like the audiobook narration that much, so I stopped listening to that. I did have Twilight Falls checked out on audio from the library on Libby, but I was just like, you know what? There's other people waiting. Let them have a good time. Let them have fun. So I gave that back. I started listening to Intercourse by Andrea Dworkin. Andrea Dworkin, I'm sure you know, is a very famous feminist writer. It is so good. Again, though, I'm just like not in the mood to intake information, but her, I guess it's like an intro. The intro to that book alone, I think literally everyone should have to read. Technically, I still have that checked out, but I know I'm not going to get around to finishing it. And then I started listening to this other audiobook. Hang on, I gotta go see what it's called. It's called The Golden Mean by Annabelle Lyon. That wasn't even on my TBR, but I feel like I'm having a Greek mythology summer, and that felt, it's not Greek mythology, but it felt like relevant. But it's a story about Aristotle and Alexander the Great, I believe, question mark. And I'm a little bit of the ways into it so far. It's good, but like I don't feel like doing anything. I don't feel like listening to anything, so I don't know how far I'll get into it. I also don't love being in the head of a man. Also, Aristotle was 37 and his wife was 15 when he married her. Just disgusting and despicable. And then with my own two eyes, I did start reading one of my like summer books that was on my TBR, which is Nymph. And I think I'm 20% of the way through it so far. I like it. I don't know if I'll finish it in the month of July, but like I said, I just like, I'm done. I quit reading. I was like, I'm calling it off for a month. And like, I don't even feel like reading Jujutsu Kaisen. So that's everything I read / started to read in July. And now that these spreads are finished, we can go put all the spreads that I made today into my digital journals. I really can't believe it's the end of July. Like, I feel like I blinked and a whole entire week passed. Honestly, as much as I hate to wish away time, like, as soon as the summer can be done, the better. I'm so tired of applying to jobs. Like, I'm actually sick of it. Like, I think I'm gonna stop in the same manner that I stopped reading. I think I'm just gonna stop applying to jobs. I did buy some work pants though. I don't know who's ever gonna wear them, not me, because there are no jobs. There are no jobs to be had. Oh my gosh, what did I just get a notification about? NCT 127 Blingy. 1 + 2 + 7 = 10. What? What is this? Anyway, let me focus. I'm still sad about women, y'all. Like, I literally feel like someone cut off one of my limbs. Anyway, like I said, I got some work pants. You know, I dipped into my iPad funds because I'm not getting it anyway, so might as well get some work pants that I can't wear anywhere because there are no jobs. I'm trying to think what else has gone on. Oh, my best friend said she's coming over this week, which is crazy because like it's gonna be so hot, like of all the times for her to come over. And she's bringing me a t-shirt from a concert she went to. She went to one of Akon's concerts. She always talks about how I let her borrow the Akon CD that I had, and she was like, that was my favorite album, and she was like, you let me borrow it so I could put all the music on my iPod. I don't remember that at all, but that's so cute. And also the other day she went to this random toy store in the city and she found some Webkins, so she bought both of us a Webkins. What? So now I'm gonna have 2 Webkins. Maybe I'll make a spread about my Webkins. That'd be fun. That'd be cute. Anyway, Anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. Everything I used in today's spreads will be in my Pinterest board. The link to that is in the description box, along with the links to all of my other social media accounts, as well as the links to all of the Google Drive folders for all of my journal deco kits. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. I hope that your July has been going well, and if not, then I hope that August goes better for you. I'm saying that both to you and to me. I really appreciate all of you so much. Thank you for hanging out with me as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone!